Hey everyone, today we are going to be doing the do-it-yourself name cards with chalkboard vinyl tutorial from the November Silhouette Life Inspiration Box. So you will need your chalkboard vinyl. I have used, there we go. I've used a piece of it, but that's okay. And then you'll need the blue grid transfer tape, your chalk marker, and your craft cardstock. So once you have all of those items ready, go into the Facebook page. You're going to click on albums for the photo albums and click on November. The link at the top of the album takes you to the Google Drive. Click on JSL Custom Creations. Once you're there, it'll show you the name card file. Download that. I'm going to be following that file. In the tutorial, she explains in detail how to make your own file for a pop-up card if you're using something else. So if you decide to do a different file, definitely read through that. Comment below if you have any questions and I'll help you. But for this tutorial, I'm going to do it just with the design she gave us, so it's already ready to go. We don't need to change the offsets. We don't need to put in that perforated line. We just are ready to cut and go. So I have my design ready to go. It's that turkey. I will do a screen share in just a second to show you the design, my cut settings, and how everything's ready with that. But because it is cardstock, you do have to cut on a cutting mat. So make sure you get your cutting mat and you're just going to sit your cardstock right on it. And so I like to line it up in the top, let's see, top left, where you would normally like start your vinyl. And that way, like this, that way it's just easiest to know where to place my design. So I'm going to do the screen share. We'll show you what I'm talking about with the turkey design and then we'll go from there. Okay, I've got my screen pulled up for you. So I'm in the tutorial. I'm going to scroll down. This is the design. This is where I'm talking about that she tells you exactly how to do like the card design around it. So you draw the rectangle, you have to weld it together, you have to make an offset, then you weld that together again, then you're going to draw another line and you need it to be perforated. Right here you can change that style. We're going to transform it to align the perforated line with the rectangle, align center. We don't need those. So this is what I'm talking about, where she goes into detail exactly how to do it if you're making your own design. So if you're trying one and it's not working, go ahead and just reach out to me and I'll help you. She gives us the design all ready to go, which I love because it makes it easy if you don't have time to do all of the different pieces and you just want to cut it and go. This one is ready for you. So she went ahead and cut her cardstock first. So I showed you that I had my cardstock onto the mat and I'll show you when I load that in, but we want to check the settings. So we want blade 3, speed 4, force 20. So I'm going to go into my design. Let's see. Oh, there we go. Okay, so here's the cardstock sitting right here, and here's the vinyl. So I'm going to pull the vinyl off. I'm going to move the cardstock up to where it should be, and then I'm going to come, it's got all my right settings showing that I'm using the mat. I'm going to come into here, and we're going to go to chalkboard. Or not chalkboard, cardstock. We're just going to do plain cardstock. So that gives me 3, 4, and 20. She's just 3, 4, and 20. So that's perfect. Plain settings for cardstock is what works the best. So I'm going to go ahead and switch back to my video. I'll show you loading that in. I'm just going to show you why we have it on here too. We want the chalkboard vinyl settings to be 2, 5, and 10. So we'll make sure when I set that up that we have it like that. So let's go ahead and cut this out. Okay, so I have my cardstock loaded into my machine. Remember just to click load cut mat over here since you're doing the cut mat. I've got my blade set at 3, right there, yep, 3, and the setting's already set for cardstock. So now that it is ready to go, we're going to come back to my computer. We've got 3, 4, 20, it's all set there. My design looks like it's going to cut right, but it does look like, do you see right here where it's kind of going over that line? Let's move it into my mat just a little bit more just to be extra safe. So now I just have to plug in my Cameo. Let's do that. I thought it was plugged in. So it'll plug in, and then it'll start reading here that you're connecting. Now it's ready to go. So we just click send, and it's going to go ahead and cut it out. So my cardstock just cut out, and I'm going to show you. Cardstock is sometimes harder to peel off. It depends on how sticky your mat is. Mine's at a pretty good stickiness right now, so it's not like bending my cardstock or anything like that. So now you have this pulled off. Now you want to be careful here just because see how it is cut out in the middle. So you kind of want to peel from a couple different edges so you can peel that off really nicely. Then find this perforated line right here, and if you fold it, see how the turkey pops right up. So now we have our turkey and the pop-up in the back. So this is our card. So let's go ahead and cut out our chalkboard vinyl. So what we are going to do is I'm going to move my extra cardstock out of the way, and I'm going to pull up my chalkboard vinyl. And then mine still has bubbles in it. Last time I showed you how to burnish those out. So just use your little squeegee and squeegee those out. And then I'm putting my vinyl onto my cut mat. So again, you just start in the top corner. It's the easiest for me. I line it up with that first square. I lay it down, and then I just kind of fold it down. So here's what mine looks like. I'm being a little lazy, and I'm not burnishing out those bubbles because I'm only cutting in the top where there's not any bubbles. But I've even had luck sometimes cutting before over those bubbles, and it's been okay. Where sometimes burnishing out for me gives me more bubbles. So I'm not really sure what the best solution is for that. But I prefer, when I first get it, if there's not very many, I'll burnish it out. Once I've burnished it out, if I keep getting them, I just leave it. And I just hope that my designs go well. And if they don't, that's my fault. But then you kind of know what my thought process is. So now we have this, and we're going to load it into our machine. Let me turn this so you can see my machine. There we go. So I'm just lining it up with that blue line right here. I'm clicking load cut mat. And I'm kind of rubbing out some of these bubbles with my fingers too. Okay, so now that is loaded. So we're going to go back to the tutorial. So I just have it up kind of on the other page on what we need to do. And we need to pull the chalkboard vinyl onto our Silhouette Studio. So I'm going to go ahead, pull that on. Remember how I just slid it off the screen? Now you're just going to slide the chalkboard design, or the cardstock off, and slide the vinyl back on. So I will show you what that looks like, and we will cut out the vinyl. Okay, so now you can see I have the chalkboard part back onto my screen to cut out. I'm on the tutorial over here. We need to be at 2, 5, and 10. So I'm going to click send, and I'm going to do vinyl, and I'm going to do chalkboard. And it does 1, 5, and 10, so I'm going to increase up to 2. Oh, down here, sorry. Increase it up to 2. And then you can see that my design is ready to cut out. It's on the inside. That's the last step of the tutorial here. So we're going to go back to my machine. I need to switch my blade to 2. I'm just going to slide it to 2. Okay. Now my blade's at 2, and it is ready to cut out. So I'm just going to click send, and then I'll show you after. So it just cut out right here. So you're just going to peel off your vinyl. Again, look at all those bubbles. The important thing with bubbles is just don't crease them. So don't like push too hard on them or try to rub them out too much, because as soon as you crease the vinyl, you can't really fix that. But the bubbles, I mean, they do move. They're not hurting your vinyl really. So that's just my piece of advice. So now that we've got it cut out, I'm going to cut out just a square around my design. So let's see if you can see this. I'm going to start right here, right underneath that line, and I'm going to cut, and then I'm going to loop up right here and just cut out that square. So now we have this square, and we need to weed this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my little weeding tool, and I'm just going to very carefully poke at the corner. Chalkboard's kind of hard, so I'm actually going to peel with my finger. And then she says it weeds very nicely, so I'm just going to be very careful. Oh, I can already tell that there are 2 lines right here that didn't come out. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn this down. Oh, as you can see, I'm wearing sweatpants. Awkward. Normally you guys don't see that part. So let's see. Now you can see what I'm doing while I'm weeding this. So here we go. I'm just peeling back, and I'm just watching all these little pieces to make sure that they are sticking where they're supposed to be. And it does actually weed, I mean, it weeds very, very nicely. You just kind of have to be watchful because a lot of these little lines, like right here, what I'm doing, that one just pulled up. So what happens if it pulls up for me is I cut the excess so it doesn't get stuck. So I cut it off. So now I have that, and I peel that. And then I come back and I try to lay it down again where it should be. So I'm just pressing with my fingers. I'm actually going to try to see where that design is. I also may just be crazy. Maybe there's not one there. Well, oh, I think there is. So I'm going to take my little my little pokey thing. I'm going to try to find it. Sometimes I play with this and just try to play in the hole to see where it went. But I actually think this one either didn't cut or it isn't one. So maybe I'm just crazy. So I'm going to keep going. Pull it off this side. Okay, so we've got all that. And then a weeded super nice right there. So now we've got this weeded. Yeah, maybe there was a little one. It's supposed to be right here. Well, there you go. Now you can see how easy it is to lose them. Sometimes with those smaller pieces, I couldn't even see it in the piece though. So I'm not really sure where that one went. If you were making these and that bothered you, a little trick of the trade, just pull off the one that doesn't match. If you like the way it looks over here, just peel off this one. Because then you have 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh. Nope, we do have 5 on each side. This one just looks different for some reason. Okay, anyway, so now you have this, and we're going to take our blue grid transfer tape, and I like to line them up so I know how many squares I need. So it looks like I need roughly 4.5 by, how many squares is this? 3.5. So then I'm going to cut that up. So I'm going to say we said 3.5 or so. I'm going to go extra and just do 4. So I'm going to do like a 4 by 4 grid, like this. So now you have this. You peel off the top. I love this transfer tape, by the way. This blue grid kind that she puts in these boxes is my favorite kind of transfer tape. I have a giant roll of another kind, and I hate using it now. So I definitely suggest this if you're new to the game and buying transfer tape, buy this stuff. So, oh, I almost messed up big time, you guys. There's more to weed in our turkey. The turkey has a face. Well, that's awkward. Okay. So, these are honest. Right. So, let's see. As you can see, we have a nose right here. Do we need to get out? So, I like to bend it a little, but as you can see, it does pick up other pieces. So you just have to be very careful that when you're bending, you don't let anything else come off. So then, with my finger, I just peeled that right off, but I do have to press all of these down that I just bended. Now our next tackle is we want the eyes, but we just want that inside circle of the eyes. So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to take my little tweezers. Okay. And I'm going to press down on the little eyeball while I pick up on the eye. Did you see that? I'll show you another one too. So I like to make sure my tweezer is holding the little part down. So I'm like almost pressing it with this. And then I pick up the other side, the other outline. So let's try it again right here. So I bend it just a little bit. That helps me get the design out. And then I'm going to press down on the circle. And when I do that, that one didn't work. Okay, let me put this on the, so you can see. So here's the eyeball, here's the pieces. Both pieces are still in here. Which side is sticky? So I think this side was the sticky side. So I'm going to sit it back down. And with my finger and this, I'm going to try again to get this off. See how I'm just rubbing it? I'm trying to rub it onto it. Oh, there we go. So now I can peel away. There we go. Okay, so we got that. Now we need to fix it. So what we're going to do is I'm just going to push this. You can see, I don't know if you can tell, you can see the little cut in the vinyl backing. So I just like to position it back on top of that vinyl, that circle. Okay, I'm going to press down my finger. Okay, its eyes are a little wonky still. Oh, it's because the other one moved out of that circle. The one we thought was right. So I'm going to move this one back into that circle. Okay, that's better. This one's still a little bit lower, so I'm going to bump it up. There we go, a normal looking turkey. Okay, then inspect your design for anything else. It looks good. So now you take the transfer tape. If you do something like what I just did, just put it non-sticky side down. That way you're not getting stuff on your sticky side. And then you're just going to take this and you're just going to layer it, where am I? On top of, well, you're going to layer your transfer tape on top of your design. And then you just rub it. And you can use one of your little squeegees. Sometimes I just use my fingers. You can use a credit card, whatever you want. So, then we're going to make sure we have our cardstock ready. And we have this ready. Because we're going to end up putting it on top of each other. So, I am going to peel this off. Oh, we didn't burnish it enough because see how it's not coming off. So, here's what we're going to do. I'm going to put it back on the table again. I'm going to rub really hard. Really hard. Okay, now I'm going to try to peel off. Some of it's coming off, so I'm going to try to go from this side. Sometimes that helps to do kind of like the reverse. You just have to be careful, like always, that you don't have any sticking onto your backing, because then it's really hard to place. And if it does stick, I just press back down. I just push it down, and it helps to stick back to the backing. Okay, so there we go. We got our turkey. Well, there we go, and our design. So now, here's this. I don't know if I'm going to be able to do it like this, but this is the goal, what we're going to want it to look like. So I'm going to put this back down, and it's going to be upside down. Well, I guess I could do it like this. Okay, here's your design. So I'm going to line up this bottom box, because then I know that everything else will fit in it. So I'm going to line it up right around where I think it should be. I'm going to very lightly press down the bottom, no other part of it yet. That way I can make sure, just with an eyeball glance, that, yep, that'll line up where I want it to. It's a little bit uneven, so I'm going to try to peel it back off. It may not always work, but that's why I just do one little press down. Okay, I wouldn't really suggest that. I didn't really like that. So, I'm going to make the card normal, and I'm going to try it again. So, I'm just going to line up, this time I'm going to line up the feathers where I want my turkey to be and what looks even to me, because I'm having a really hard time lining these up. So then, it looks pretty good. I'm going to lay it back down. I'm just going to call that good. And then I'm going to rub, rub, rub. Rub, rub, rub. Ah! Be careful not to do that. And then you peel off. It should stick to your cardstock pretty well, but if it doesn't, again, just do what we talked about. Just press it down. Okay, there you go. So now we've got our little pop-up card with our vinyl turkey on it. Then what her tutorial talks about is taking your chalk marker. Chalk markers you probably want to shake, and I would test them on something else. Like I would take a scrap piece of something, press it down, try to write on it, because sometimes they'll like bleed, they'll like goop the first time you press down. So then you'll just write whatever you want in here. Your name, thankful, blessed. whatever. I missed the boat, and it is officially December, so I'm not going to fill this out right now, but I'm going to put this in my Thanksgiving holiday decor, and then I'm going to save this tutorial, so now I know for next year what I want to make for little name tags, and it's ready to go. So that's always an idea. Sometimes I will make these projects and just not finish them completely so that I can use them with whatever application that I would like to later. So here's the do-it-yourself name cards with chalkboard vinyl and the chalkboard pen from the November Silhouette Life Inspiration Box. If you have any questions, let me know. Subscribe to my channel so you can see all the December tutorials coming soon. And check out the link below to sign up for this box. You'll love it. Thanks for watching.